In the great circle of life on the African plains, there's one animal that epitomizes both the winner and loser. The cheetah, bullied and robbed by everyone else, and yet a master of survival. The incredible gifts of stealth, agility, and speed are handed down from mother to daughter in the next chapter of the cheetah's legacy. But behind those wind-cleaving strides lies a silent, internal struggle, where the fastest is often the loneliest. In a kingdom ruled by muscular giants, the cheetah must wager its life on a strategic gamble, where the margin for error is measured only in milliseconds. Welcome to Cheetahs, speed, precision, and the deadliest chase in the wild, where there is only life or death, and a species still racing as if to catch its own future. On the vast expanses of the African savanna, life operates under the unyielding laws of energy and survival instinct. Here, the cheetah occupies a specialized niche, defined by a physiology optimized for sheer velocity. Within this ecosystem, the creature exists as a solitary entity, maintaining a calculated composure to conserve energy before entering a state of explosive acceleration. Beneath the first light of day, the lean musculature of its slender limbs begins to prime for high-intensity exertion. From dawn to dusk, the life cycle of this felid is shaped by its movements across the parched grasslands and the meticulous regulation of its breathing during critical moments. In the wild, the timing of activity is a pivotal factor for survival. Unlike lions, which favor nocturnal hunting, or hyenas with their erratic schedules, the cheetah typically hunts during the crepuscular hours of early morning or late afternoon. This window of moderate temperature prevents hyperthermia when reaching peak velocity, while utilizing the soft light to optimize long-range visual acuity. The cheetah's biological mechanics allow it to operate on the fragile threshold between apex predator and potential target for larger carnivores. Every act of ambush or long-range sprint adheres to physical principles and biological tactics, where speed serves as the primary instrument to solve the equation of sustenance and survival. However, on the unforgiving savanna, speed is not the sole variable for persistence. Field observations reveal that cheetahs also employ coalition strategies to increase success rates in hunting and territorial defense. Males, often bonded by kinship, establish small groups, a departure from the solitary lifestyle typical of other large felids. This group structure creates a highly coordinated system, enabling them to command vast territories and subdue prey of significant size. Interactions between coalition members rely on visual cues and low-frequency vocalizations, serving as a sophisticated communication network to unify their offensive vectors. In an environment where competitive pressure from lions and hyenas is ever present, maintaining male coalitions is an effective defensive mechanism, allowing the cheetah to withstand territorial and food disputes. To achieve such seamless coordination, cubs are subjected to a rigorous conditioning of social etiquette and pack dynamics from their earliest stages of development. This period is established as a process of accumulating fundamental reflexes within the savanna environment. Observed behaviors, such as chasing or pouncing on one another, are not merely recreational. They are sophisticated mechanisms to train the musculoskeletal and neuromotor systems. By simulating predatory strikes on the mother, cubs refine their takedown techniques and learn to identify prey vulnerabilities. Every failure during these exercises, from a missed strike to a loss of balance, serves as empirical data to calibrate the precision of their hunting instincts. The interaction between mother and cub is one of protection and the transmission of practical survival skills. The mother maintains constant surveillance to detect latent threats, while gradually exposing the cubs to external pressures. Particularly the presence of direct competitors like the hyena. Her cautious response to the shifting dynamics of the savanna serves as a visceral lesson in risk assessment within an ecosystem that grants no quarter. The cheetah employs a specialized high-frequency vocalization system, reminiscent of avian chirping, rather than the characteristic roar of other species within the pantherine subfamily. This serves as an efficient short-range communication method, enabling family members to maintain contact without attracting undue attention from rival predators lurking in the vicinity. These acoustic signals are utilized to navigate positioning through tall grass, assemble cubs, or confirm the presence of individuals within a combat coalition. Distinct from the lion's roar, an auditory projection of dominance, or the absolute silence of the leopard, the cheetah's communication strategy optimizes internal data transmission within a limited radius. The cheetah's persistence on the savanna stands as a testament to the perfect equilibrium between physical parameters and biological tactics. The species secures its position within the food chain through a synthesis of extreme locomotion and flexible social structures, functioning as both a solitary entity and a cohesive unit when necessary. Furthermore, it establishes its presence through specialized biological indices and a high capacity for adaptation to the unforgiving laws of nature, refined over millions of years of evolution. The biological architecture of the cheetah is optimized for a singular objective: achieving terminal velocity on flat terrain. Every anatomical component has been refined to serve the physical parameters of a high-speed burst. Long limbs acting as high-leverage levers, a lean muscular system to minimize dead weight, and a highly elastic spine functioning as a biological spring. During peak locomotion, the vertebrae undergo continuous expansion and contraction, allowing for a stride length of up to 7 meters within a single gait cycle. This represents a precise coordination between mechanical thrust and aerodynamic laws to maintain forward momentum. The cheetah's tail, nearly equal in length to its body, functions as an aerodynamic rudder, facilitating center of gravity adjustments and maintaining equilibrium during abrupt directional changes at high speeds. A distinctive evolutionary trait, setting it apart from other felids, is the semi-retractable claw system. These claws maintain direct contact with the terrain, providing traction analogous to the spikes on an athlete's track shoes, ensuring maximum friction during acceleration. Concurrently, the cheetah's circulatory and respiratory systems are engineered for extreme load bearing. The heart and lungs are significantly larger than those of other species with comparable body mass. This mechanism enables the massive infusion of oxygen into the bloodstream, within a narrow time frame, providing instantaneous energy to motor muscle groups, operating at maximum intensity. However, this high-performance output is governed by rigorous physiological constraints. Due to rapid energy depletion, the cheetah can only sustain peak velocity for a duration of 20 to 30 seconds. Beyond this threshold, core body temperature surges and lactic acid concentrations in the muscles reach exhaustion levels, necessitating an immediate cessation for recovery. Each hunt is thus a calculated gamble in survival probability, where any miscalculation in distance or timing results in futile energy expenditure, directly threatening the individual's viability. The persistence of the cheetah within the savanna ecosystem is a testament to nature's specialized functional differentiation. As a speed-dependent predator, they perform the vital role of regulating populations of small to medium-sized herbivores, maintaining the biological equilibrium of the grasslands. Despite these superior biological traits, the species now faces novel variables outside traditional natural laws. The contraction of the savanna and the fragmentation of territory due to anthropogenic expansion are exerting significant selective pressure. As hunting grounds and migratory corridors are severed, the advantages of velocity and predatory instinct lose their inherent efficacy against a rapidly shifting environment. Preserving the presence of the cheetah on Earth is not merely the conservation of a single species, but the protection of a critical node within the wild ecosystem. The subsequent chapters in the cheetah's life cycle depend on their adaptive capacity to local shifts and the habitat conservation efforts initiated by humans. While natural laws persist, the intervention of external factors places the future of this high-speed entity before the most formidable challenges in its evolutionary history. Across the savanna, where the laws of survival impose a strict order, the cheetah operates as a highly specialized predatory entity. Its behavior transitions from social maintenance to a state of extreme locomotion, participating directly in the energy supply chain of the African ecosystem. Every subsequent action adheres to physical parameters and biological tactics, engineered to optimize the probability of neutralizing the target. On level terrain, the cheetah's predatory maneuvers unfold like a sequence of precise, dynamical calculations. Within a mere 3 seconds, the cheetah can accelerate from a standstill to a velocity of 120 kilometers per hour, securing its status as the fastest terrestrial organism on the planet. However, this level of performance demands a significant biological toll. Mobilizing massive energy reserves in such a brief window subjects the body to sudden thermal accumulation and the rapid depletion of glycogen stores. Consequently, an individual can only perform a limited number of high-speed bursts per day before entering a state of dormancy to recalibrate its vital survival indices. To optimize the success rate within this narrow time frame, the cheetah must execute a series of complex kinetic maneuvers. Superior speed is merely a prerequisite. The sufficient condition lies in the ability to anticipate the prey's abrupt trajectory changes. The creature adjusts its heading based on the mathematical principles of centrifugal force and gravity. The long, flexible tail serves as a dynamic counterweight, lashing through the air to generate opposing force, ensuring the body maintains absolute equilibrium during high-velocity turns without succumbing to inertial rollover. The predatory process for the cheetah is a synthesis of pursuit instinct and precise technical elements. It requires the capacity to identify the optimal moment for acceleration and the strategic delay necessary for maximum energy conservation. Every meter of distance closed is the result of biological tempo control and a profound understanding of environmental variables. Here, the boundary between life and death is defined by the ability to maintain structural stability under the pressure of extreme velocity, where even the slightest technical deviation leads to the failure of the entire predatory cycle. In the hyper-competitive environment of the grassland ecosystem, where biological indices define the boundary between survival and elimination. Speed is a critical variable, but not the sole determinant. The laws of nature favor entities capable of data control and situational analysis. The cheetah establishes its dominance not merely through terminal velocity, but through a calculated tactical framework and the mastery of static composure before an explosive release. The cheetah's predatory progression initiates with a phase of information gathering and field reconnaissance. It utilizes camouflage within vegetation that matches its pelage to neutralize the prey's detection capabilities. At a distance of several dozen meters, the cheetah maintains a state of immobility or low-amplitude movement to evaluate the social structure of the antelope herd. In specific scenarios, it executes diversionary maneuvers, feigning retreat to lower the target's vigilance threshold. Once the prey enters a state of complacency, the parameters of distance and timing are finalized to close the ambush cycle. The acceleration phase functions as the release of compressed energy. The cheetah's flexible anatomy transitions from a static state to high-intensity dynamics, reaching a maximum velocity of 120 kilometers per hour within an extremely narrow window. At this speed, the prey's reflexes often suffer a latency delay relative to the predator's approach velocity. This is the culmination of a sequence of precise technical operations, where every stride and steering angle is calculated to negate the target's escape vectors. The success of the terminal strike depends entirely on the ability to maintain structural stability under extreme velocity and the precision of the attack timing. The application of this strategy optimizes energy reserves, the most scarce and costly resource for a high-speed organism. The cheetah operates with strategic regulation. Any rhythmic error or misjudgment in opponent assessment results in futile energy expenditure, directly threatening its biological viability. However, neutralizing the prey does not signify the end of the risk cycle. On the savanna, food ownership is perpetually challenged by species with muscular superiority, such as hyenas or lions. Due to its lightweight skeletal structure designed for speed, the cheetah lacks an advantage in direct conflict or close-quarters combat. When confronted by kleptoparasitic entities, the cheetah must perform a trade-off calculation between defending its spoils and the risk of injury. In most adverse scenarios, survival instinct directs it to abandon the kill to preserve the individual for future predatory cycles. The cheetah's hunt is thus a chess match of probability and intellect, where wisdom in risk management is as vital as the ability to sprint across the plains. The predatory efficiency of the cheetah reaches its zenith within a few frantic seconds. However, the subsequent recovery and safeguarding of the kill constitute the phase that truly determines individual viability. Following a high-intensity sprint, the cheetah's physiology enters a state of acute oxygen debt and intracellular heat accumulation. The respiratory system operates at maximum capacity, with rapid panting designed to dissipate heat and clear lactic acid from the musculature. At this juncture, the cheetah's locomotor indices plummet to their lowest levels, transitioning the animal from a formidable predator into a vulnerable entity within the ecosystem. Environmental acoustic cues, such as the rustle of undergrowth or the distinctive distant call of a hyena, serve as critical parameters signaling the approach of competitors. The presence of scavengers and opportunistic predators, such as hyenas, leopards, or vultures, exerts direct selective pressure on the cheetah. These species hunt based on the olfactory detection of blood to initiate carcass theft. Within minutes of a successful takedown, the arrival of a hyena clan, with their numerical superiority and massive bite force, can completely alter the landscape of food ownership. For the hyena, usurping the labor of others is a resource optimization strategy far more energy efficient than active hunting. In this confrontational scenario, the cheetah operates on the principle of individual preservation rather than direct conflict. It may engage in threat displays, such as low-frequency growls or arching its posture, but it rarely participates in physical engagement. A skeletal structure optimized for speed renders the cheetah highly susceptible to catastrophic injury if it collides with species characterized by high bone density and massive muscle mass. In the natural environment, a single limb fracture or soft tissue trauma is sufficient to negate its acceleration capabilities, leading to permanent loss of food supply and eventual starvation. Therefore, withdrawing and abandoning the kill is a biological decision made to preserve predatory capacity for future cycles. This is the survival protocol for solitary entities. Optimize speed, consume rapidly, and execute tactical retreats. Distinct from the complex social hierarchies of lions or the pack tactics of hyenas, the cheetah operates independently, necessitating higher levels of discipline and risk calculation. Protecting the spoils is no longer a muscular confrontation. It is a cognitive calculus between caloric intake and the risk of physical compromise. The cheetah emerges within the ecosystem as a testament to the profound understanding of one's own physiological limits. It is prepared to sacrifice the short-term benefit of a meal for the long-term safety of the individual against physically dominant species. This lucidity is not born of emotion, but is the result of millions of years of rigorous evolution, where survival is perpetually prioritized over fleeting victory. In the blood-stained environment of the savanna, the ability to recognize the moment of surrender is the very factor that enables the cheetah to persist and execute its hunts in the days to come. The cheetah's biological architecture is engineered for the singular objective of maximizing acceleration within a minimal time frame. Muscular groups and skeletal joints are configured for extreme locomotor performance, with the four limbs acting as elastic levers and the spine functioning as a high-flexibility steel spring. A circulatory system with a heart rate far exceeding that of other felids ensures instantaneous oxygen delivery to muscle cells throughout the sprint. However, the persistence of this species within the savanna ecosystem relies not only on physical parameters, but also on information processing and tactical formulation during each phase of the predatory cycle. Cheetahs do not engage in random pursuit. Prior to activating a high-intensity motor state, the organism analyzes environmental variables, including wind direction, terrain, and the physiological state of the prey population. It prioritizes individuals exhibiting signs of diminished health, those straying from the herd, or those displaying psychological instability. The approach phase is executed by utilizing the nuances of vegetation to neutralize the opponent's visual detection, maintaining an optimal distance to shorten the chase trajectory while remaining outside the prey's risk recognition perimeter. At the decisive moment, the burst of speed is executed based on a pre-established trajectory calculation. The angle of attack and the distance traveled are optimized to intercept the target's escape route rather than merely pursuing from behind. The cheetah forecasts the movement direction and the prey's sharp turns to perform precise directional maneuvers on the ground, cornering the target into spatially disadvantaged positions. Should the parameters of the hunt shift and the probability of success decline, the cheetah triggers an immediate cessation mechanism to conserve energy. Abandoning an inefficient hunt is a fundamental principle of survival discipline, preventing extreme exhaustion and preserving resources for subsequent opportunities. On the savanna, the capacity for rapid data analysis is a more critical determinant of survival than brute strength. Every behavior of the cheetah is a balance between the risk of energy expenditure and the protein reward. This strategy compensates for the lack of physical advantages compared to the lion or the endurance of the hyena. The cheetah establishes itself as an entity that controls timing, regulating between states of acceleration, retreat, and anticipation. The cheetah's performance is derived not from muscular superiority, but from logical decision-making refined through a long evolutionary process. Velocity serves as the execution tool, but the tactical analysis system is the factor that sustains the species against adversaries with advantages in power and numbers. The synergy between extreme locomotion and cold strategic thinking allows the cheetah to continue hunting effectively. In a highly competitive and unforgiving environment. On the savanna landscape, environmental variables are shifting at a rate that far exceeds the cheetah's biological adaptive capacity. The survival of this large felid no longer depends solely on its predatory success, but is being directly impacted by external factors driving the species toward population decline. Data from conservation organizations record that the cheetah population in Africa currently fluctuates at approximately 7,100 individuals, primarily concentrated within restricted conservation areas. The savanna ecosystem, once its traditional domain, is undergoing fragmentation due to the expansion of agricultural land and human infrastructure networks. As habitats contract, the density of herbivores, the cheetah's primary energy source, declines significantly. This forces individuals to migrate beyond natural boundaries and approach livestock farming areas. In critical regions such as Namibia, the geographical overlap between cheetah territories and farmlands creates direct conflicts over survival interests. Human measures to protect livestock often result in violent interventions, forcing the species into a state of coerced elimination from its habitat. In this dynamic, the cheetah exists as a disadvantaged entity against the encroachment of human social structures. Parallel to human pressure, the cheetah must also contend with fierce competitive laws within the predatory ecosystem itself, a body structure optimized for velocity results. In a loss of advantage, in direct physical confrontations involving muscle mass. The presence of hyenas with pack tactics, lions with overwhelming weight, and leopards with superior arboreal stealth creates a permanent threat network to both food sources and the safety of the next generation. Cub mortality rates in the wild serve as a negative indicator for reproductive viability, as rival predators frequently eliminate offspring to reduce future competition. While this loss is part of natural law, when combined with negative anthropogenic impacts, it generates a cumulative pressure that renders the future of this high-speed entity unstable. Every fluctuation in the cheetah's life cycle is now more than a result of instinct. It is a reflection of an ecosystem progressively losing its inherent equilibrium. Across the African savannas, the persistence of the cheetah is being challenged by a system of anthropogenic barriers. The loss of forests, grasslands, and subsequent habitat fragmentation have led directly to a decline in genetic diversity. These negative variables tighten the survival limits of a species already characterized by a low population base. However, field data also record the emergence of behavioral adjustment mechanisms from the human side aimed at establishing a new state of equilibrium. In Namibia, conflict management models between humans and wildlife are undergoing structural changes. Instead of employing lethal measures to protect livestock, a segment of the farming community has adopted biological solutions. Through programs supported by the Cheetah Conservation Fund, CCF, the deployment of Anatolian shepherd dogs serves as a natural deterrent capable of repelling cheetahs without causing casualties on either side. This method neutralizes conflict by altering the interaction between livestock and predators, shifting the human role from an adversary to an ecosystem regulator. Current conservation initiatives are scaling up from the household level to the landscape level. The establishment of ecological corridors in the Serengeti region represents a critical technical advancement, enabling the connection of isolated protected areas. These strips of land function as safe migratory corridors, allowing cheetahs to maintain hunting and reproductive activities without encroaching upon human settlements. This is particularly significant for maintaining the gene flow of the global cheetah population, which has now fallen below the threshold of 7,000 individuals in the wild. The conservation process is not limited to technical reports, but includes continuous field monitoring. Ranger units and biological research teams track footprints and collect genetic data to assess population health. Every effort is directed toward extending the life cycle of the planet's fastest large felid within a rapidly changing environment. The participation of various social components, from local to international scales, is the decisive variable in the success rate of conservation projects. Communication, fundraising, and community education regarding the cheetah's biological characteristics serve as vital resources supporting field campaigns. In the logic of conservation, every action taken to recalibrate human impact on nature possesses cumulative value over time. The future of the cheetah depends not only on its own locomotor indices or biological instincts, but is also determined by the response speed and intensity of conservation interventions from humanity. The ultimate objective is to maintain a stable savanna ecosystem, where natural laws and human activities can coexist without leading to the extinction of iconic species. The preservation of each individual cheetah serves as an effective metric for ecological restoration efforts. The persistence of this large felid on the savanna establishes the premise that systematic human intervention possesses the capacity to recalibrate the survival trajectory of wildlife. However, time remains a detrimental variable. With a population of only approximately 7,100 individuals according to IUCN reports, cheetah conservation has become a race against extinction indices. Supporting specialized organizations such as the CCF and disseminating data through communication networks play a vital role in establishing a multi-layered protection framework for the species. The core objective is to ensure the stability of the African ecosystem, where this high-speed entity continues to function as a primary biological control agent across the majestic grasslands. The observation of this large felid has encompassed everything from biological characteristics and predatory mechanisms to threat variables and experimental conservation solutions. The cheetah is not merely an isolated individual. It is an indicator species for the health of the savanna, a biological legacy that must be sustained for successive generations. In the face of current environmental shifts, the persistence of this species confronts various scenarios regarding habitat viability. The ultimate outcome depends on the intensity of human intervention during this critical period. The conservation of the cheetah is established as a systemic ecosystem regulation task. Methods of action include providing resources to specialized organizations such as the CCF and IUCN, and participating in online conservation media networks. Every financial contribution or data dissemination acts as a technical advancement toward maintaining the wild savanna. Engaging with and sharing this content supports the global amplification of wildlife information. The feedback and data dispersion initiated today will determine whether the savanna ecosystem continues to sustain this high-speed entity in the future.